With the doubles now underway, we return to Wimbledon now on BBC Two, where John Inverdale has all the best of the day's play.
Time, ready for play.
As Britishers bubble and squeak, the tennis double act with their eyes on the second week. Tim and Greg. And seeing double is anybody who faces good old Gorham. Well, Taylor Dent set the standard last night, but who really is the quickest gunslinger in SW19? Ivanisevic, Roddick, Rosetsky, Henman, or the defending champion Pete Sampras. Well, there's a modern-day firing squad for you. Of course, in Mac's day, it was all bad haircuts and wooden rackets.
And those tight pants, don't forget that.
Very tight pants, which takes us on to another subject we can come back to later. What about in your day? What were you serving at, roughly?
140, 150.
K.
Is my nose grown yet? I probably was serving, maybe, if I was lucky, I'd hit 110. I mean, I'm being generous now because I want to lie to some of the people watching right now, but I mean, I relied more on my volley, let's just say that.
So how much is it technology, and how much people just getting bigger, maybe, that means they're serving so much
I think
bigger?
that's part of it. The technology is part of it. I think part of it is at a young age, going out there and hitting a lot of balls hard and get your arm getting used to it. I mean, we talk about Roddick, can he keep it up? I don't know how these guys hit it that hard. I really don't. I mean, I do feel like a dinosaur right now, because you look at these guys. Taylor Dent goes out there. The guy's got to get a wild card. He's in the qualifying. You think he's barely winning matches on the tour, and this guy comes out and plays an incredible match. And then the next day, Ivanisevic, who everyone's written off, you think the guy's finished, he's history. He still hadn't recovered from the match with Sampras. He's still around, banging him down.
Yeah, well, 144 miles an hour last night was Taylor Dent's best, and all throughout the grounds today, 130 miles an hour was the norm. We're going to focus on 3 matches that produced a whole range of dynamic tennis and also a fair amount of tension as well. First up, it's Greg Rosetsky on centre court against the number 8 seed Juan Carlos Ferrero of Spain. And talk about hitting big, you know, you'd expect Rosetsky to play an awful lot of big serves and volleys and all that sort of stuff. What you might not have expected were rallies like this, where the consistency of shot meant that the Spaniard just simply couldn't play Rosetsky off the court. All the while playing a bit of percentage tennis, making sure that he wasn't giving away too many points to unforced errors. And then when the opportunity presented itself, and Rosetsky was able to force the pace, he was actually able to take the initiative in rallies, and when the opportunity presented itself to actually put the ball away, Rosetsky did that very thing. You'll see him coming into the net any second now. Up goes the ball from the Spaniard, and away it goes from Rosetsky. Not the sort of... Oh, absolutely. Well, that's not the kind of Greg that we're used to seeing on the centre court, and it was 6-1 in the first set. It was a bit like Dent and Hewitt last night. Anyway, here we are in the second, 2 apiece. How's it going to go from here?
Judgment of Solomon as well.
Well, I thought when he first let it go there, I thought, what is he doing here? It wasn't that good a lot, was it? Brilliantly left.
$15 on.
Greg doesn't hit that many of these passing shots of his backhand side, but he loved this one. He hung in again well in this rally. Nice backhand there. Came over the ball well, cross court. Covering a lot of court, though, today, Rosetsky.
Actually was good.
Oh, that's unlucky for Rosetsky because his return was right onto the baseline. The baseline judge corrected her call just as Cedric Muria was overruling, but of course Rosetsky, having played such a great return, was in control of the point, which will now be replayed. 15-30. First break points of the second set. Rosetsky breaks and moves ahead 3-2.
The initiative there in the second set, and moving it on to 5-4. Rosetsky soon found himself serving for a 2-set lead.
And the backhand volley has been immaculate today.
15 love.
That one 124 miles an hour. His fastest today, 135.
Tremendous second serve there, and the touch drop volley. Could have belted this one away, but got the confidence to go for the delicate drop volley.
138 miles an hour. 2 sets to love.
So Rosetsky very much in the ascendancy there. As we move into the third, can the Spaniard get back into the match? Will Rosetsky let him back in?
And that's what Ferrero has to do a little bit more of. He has to try and attack the Rosetsky backhand and sometimes get into that net. Make Rosetsky hit the shots he doesn't want to hit.
Oh, sweet.
Well, Ferrero did the right thing here.
15.
That is the Rosetsky weakness, the backhand passing shot. Not today, though, so far. He's hit 2 of those absolute beauties.
Fifteen, 30.
This is simply magnificent. Stayed in the rally, perfect approach, great volley.
Can't ask for more than this. Again, the slice he puts on that approach shot, but just at the end, it makes it go so low and skid through. It's so
15,
difficult to
40.
pass on that.
Two break points.
Game, Rosetsky.
Well, the Spaniard wasn't playing very well, but when did you last see Rosetsky play like this, especially in a Grand Slam tournament? And here he is with another magnificent piece of all-round play to give him... Thank you very much. Probably the worst bowler, actually, of that rat-a-tat that actually won him the point. But in the end, that gave him a second break of serve, and here we are, eventually at match point, 5-4 in the third. And that volley, as rock-solid as he had been throughout the entire match, Ferrero into the net and Rosetsky into the last 16. And he's come an awful long way from that ignominious exit very early 12 months ago.
At the beginning of actually the end of last year, more or less, I said to myself, I'm going to give it one last chance. You know, fortunately, Pat Cash introduced me to Brad Langavad, and you know, then I met the physio in Australian Ryan Kendrick, who I decided to hire full time. So, you know, Brad and Ryan have done a lot of hard work with me. You know, they've changed my game, kept my body in shape, looked after me all year. And, you know, all the changes I've gone through have really come up trumps for me. Everything seems to be working, and I think, you know, they really saved my career and helped me to do things. So, you know, I'm well pleased about that, and really happy and looking forward to the future. And I'm glad I can give the British public something to cheer about. You know, it's nice to be in the second week. To win 3 matches is a great start, but hopefully it's just the beginning.
Ferrero obviously is not a grass court player, so are we reading too much into Rosetsky's win?
Oh, I think so. I mean, it's nice to have him around. I mean, to me, he's underachieved here. So he's doing what he at least should do. A guy that's that athletic, that big, but that big a serve, you would have thought he would have gotten past the quarters by now. I mean, he's a guy who got to the U.S. Open finals, so there's a lot that's been expected of him, and now maybe he can put it together.
We always talk about Rosetsky's serve, but sometimes his volleys can be a bit errant. But today he was rock solid, wasn't he?
Well, one thing about Ferreira, I mean, you don't want to play the guy in clay, that's for sure, but he just doesn't put a lot on the ball. He's not that big a hitter. He's the type of ball, when you're in the baseline, you saw Rosetsky have a lot of rallies because that ball sits up for him. And there, when you're hitting returns that don't have a lot on it, you can afford to think about it for a little bit, hit drop volleys, you can hit it firm. And the key is to keep your racket in front of you. But if it's not blistering back at you, it's a lot easier to accomplish that.
There's one more. Crash, thank you very much.
There's nothing on that, let's be honest. I mean, that's a gimme from almost any tennis player. Not to take anything away from
No, good Lord, no, we don't want to do that. OK, well, anyway, the point was that Rosetsky was safely into the last 16 by sort of 2:30 or so this afternoon, and waiting for him was the winner of the match between Ivan Isavic and Roddick. Now, this was obviously going to be a big hitting encounter, and we're going to pick it up at 5-4 to the American, Ivan Isavic serving in the first set.
This rhythm, it's just like butter. Still a smile on his face.
Is that 4 in a row? 4 races in a row? Or 3? It's still 3 in a row. It was 4 in a row.
5 games sold.
And
I've improved my serve, but that's what I've never done. I've had 3 in a row. I've never done 4 in a row.
keep trying, Pat.
Yeah,
They
I'll
tell me
keep
you're
trying.
still playing great tennis.
Yeah, not too bad.
McEnroe told me.
Good aggressive play there. Saw that from Ivanisevic.
Love 15.
Saw that he hit a decent return. Put the pressure on Roddick by sneaking in.
Love 30.
Well, not everybody can play a half volley on the baseline like, for example, Agassi can. He came up too much, so did the ball. Here's danger. Love 30.
Love 40.
Well, double fault. Only the second. His first break points here. Right off the line.
Wonderful hitting by Roddick.
Wow. That
15,
might
40.
be the one chance that Ivanisevic has.
They get more and more difficult. Exactly an hour on court now.
Game.
That's
Ivanisevic.
tough.
Well, Roddick not happy, and the 3 times beaten finalist, Ivanisevic, was actually 2 sets to the good by then. The old stager very much in the driving seat, but maybe the gas was starting to run out, because in the third, the young pretender from America began to get into the ascendancy, and it was 2 sets to 1. So here we are in the fourth, with Roddick 3-4 down and serving. This was going to be the crux of the match.
Love 15.
Clever play. Very clever, experienced play from Ivanisevic there. Defensive shot, getting it down. And knowing Roddick was more comfortable at the back of the court, just wanted to make him play a volley. Turned out better than he expected. Love 30. Yes, good play again. Just getting the ball back in play, and there's 50-50 chance.
He is now facing 3 points against this man, which are really virtual match points. Second serve, stand by.
Okay.
On his 5th double fault, and costly one.
Ivanisevic leads 5 games to 3.
Well, looking up to the heavens, and don't think he was checking for rain.
Seeking guidance, I think. Seeking guidance from the big umpire in the sky, because here he is serving for just a little bit of Goran glory here.
Love 15.
I think he was saying, please give me some first serves.
15 all.
Number 37 ace. Couldn't be at a better time.
Thirteen, 15.
Well,
15.
it doesn't mean much to him, does it? 2 match points for Goran Ivanisevic.
Let the serve.
And the crowd are behind him.
Still cheerful, Roddick.
Well, that sort of sums Goran up, really. He did this against Krajcek.
Yeah, for half the match, these two guys didn't do a double fault.
40, 30.
Incredible.
Having a bit of a laugh, clowning around, losing concentration. So finish this off. Still got one more match point. First time he stayed back in the whole match. I don't think he expected it back. You see how crucial it is to concentrate. You know, Let, there was an ace, he had a laugh, giggled.
Deuce.
Break point.
Advantage, Roddick. Deuce.
Well, Goran wants that magic ball back.
It wasn't magic the last time he wanted it back.
Yeah. Last time he wanted it back, he ended up losing the point.
I said I don't get much of a chance anyways, but when you miss calls that are out by 2 inches, then you're fucking out.
Well, he hasn't really been agitated in this match. Seeking an overrule, didn't get it.
And he got pumped up like this once before, and he loses the next 3 points. Number 3, match point.
If he's doing this in the 3rd round, what would he do if he's in the final again? Match point. First time in the match he's missed the toss.
Game set, match Ivanisevic. 3-6-1. 7-6, 7-5, 3-6, 6-3.
Boy, is he happy.
It's Greg Rosetsky, and you own him. 8 matches, 8 wins.
Yeah, but those 8 matches are always 7-6 in a third, or tough matches, and it's not going to be, again, tough match. And I think I won that 8 matches because I think I played important points better than him. He maybe, I think he's going to have more expectation of him. All England is going to expect that he's going to win. I have nothing to lose. I go there, I'm going to play another nice match, relax, have fun, and I think if I play like this, I think I have a better chance than him.
I have lost 8 times. I think, you know, if you look at a lot of them, I lost in 5. I've lost in tiebreakers. I think I've had like maybe 9 or 10 match points against him. So I beat him in an exhibition match, though, a month before the grass court season started, but that wasn't so serious. But No, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good match. I think the crowd will be well entertained, and hopefully I can continue my run.
And I guess you'd like to be back on the centre court because it's special for you.
No, it is. I've only lost one match there in my career, and that was to Pete Sampras in 1995. So, you know, I think I can use all the help I can get. If I can get Ivan Isavic on centre, maybe I can break this jinx.
That's a good record for Greg, obviously, on the centre court. But having lost all 8 meetings with Ivan Isavic, does that have any bearing on the match on Monday?
Well, it's the same thing as Sampras winning here again. I mean, he's won seven out of 8 times. So you think with the law of averages, he's got to lose, right? Well, the same with Ruzetsky. I mean, he's had a number of match points he's blown. But you can't like his chances a whole lot if he's 0-8 against him. I mean, you know deep down that Goran thinks he's going to win. And the way he played today, a lot of people are going to be pulling for him. I mean, the fans here are very knowledgeable, and they know he's lost here in the finals 3 times. I mean, he was crushed when he lost to Sampras 3 years ago. It's taken him a long time. As a matter of fact, I don't think he's gotten over it yet. The only way he's going to get over it, and the only way he's going to get his career back on track, is to do something really special here. So this really means a great deal to him.
Just the 41 aces from Goran
is that
today.
it?
Yeah, 5 short of his record when he actually lost to Magnus Larsson a few years ago. We can actually see now their respective serving actions. Analyse them, you know, vis-a-vis each other for us.
40-30.
To me, it's a tough call because they're both very similar. They're both about 6'4". They have easy motions. They don't put a lot of strain on their bodies. They're tough to read. I guess you could say Goran's a slightly better athlete of the 2. And he's got a slightly nicer motion, but he's funny because you're not going to see a lot of rallying with Goran. I mean, he said that in the press conference. You're not going to see a whole lot of points. It's not going to be the type of match that you're going to see Ruzetsky play today.
When you mentioned the press conference, I think Ivan Isavic is sort of the grand old man of the tour, is actually enjoying his role now as a sort of kind of a court jester, as you can see here.
You kind of see this.
When you were blowing those match points, what was the inner Goran saying to the outer Goran at that point?
Oh, I was then, the both they were nervous, you know. I said, guys, wait. One has to be under control, but the both they were going, you know, a little bit, you know. The both, one was rushing, the other one was rushing even more. And then the third one came and said, guys, relax. It's a lovely court, relax, you know, just calm down. Yeah, third one had to come, you know, I had to call him, you know, it's an emergency one.
How do you explain your dominance over Greg Ruzetsky?
Me and my friend Gregorich. It's going to be another beautiful match to watch, you know, very exciting, you know. 15 love, 30 love, 40 love game, 15 love, 30 love, 40 love game. It's going to be interesting. That's going to be tough, you know, but it's going to be all the crowd behind him on that match.
But there'll be a lot of sympathy for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot, but I don't expect, you know, because he's an Englishman, he's going to be, they want Englishman.
Goran, you did the thing with BBC with the 2 Gorans. Did you see it? And
yeah, I
did you
saw
enjoy
this morning. That was good.
Interesting. Are you a natural actor?
Maybe. Looks good, you know. Everybody told me it looks good, so I should maybe next career go to Hollywood, try to do something.
The tour is going to be a lot poorer without him, isn't it?
Well, you almost hope he does well here. They keep him going for a couple of years. He's always been a character. He's had a great personality. It's tough to latch on to him because it's so hit and miss that when things go off, you're saying, what's going on? Why doesn't he do this more often? But it's good to see him playing so well. And the fact is Roddick, as well as he's played as much, that he's gotten the crowd support here and pretty much everywhere. His time will come. He'll be back. And give it to the old man. Let him hang in there.
Let's face it, British tennis crowds, as you get older, we like you more. That's just the sort of rule of thumb. Like Lendl,
I've noticed that.
Yeah. Play your cards right. Hang around longer. We'll get to like you too. OK, now, Ruzetsky had been in the last 16 for hours by the time Tim Henman walked onto centre court to try to join him. He was up against Sheng Schalken of the Netherlands, number 28 in the world. And things didn't go exactly according to plan for him. And he got broken in the very first service game. And Schalken was really playing an absolutely phenomenal game of tennis. And he took the first set 7-5. Schalken's good run of form continued in the early games of the second set, but then Henman took the initiative and managed to square things, 6-3. So here we are in the third, 4-all, and this is the crucial moment.
15 love. $15 all. $30-15.
Quite a noise from the crowd, wasn't it? I always wonder, John, when you see a server hit a ball into the net that sticks, and you hear all these people laugh.
30 all.
What is so funny, number one? And why do they laugh?
Have they never done it themselves? Oh, it's in. A lot of topspin on that.
That's the key, full Sharkin. Sharkin either thought or was hoping he would go long, and here it is again. Henman with the break point. Comes over there, see that ball spinning, and it spins down well inside the line.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it. That's it. It's in. No. Oh.
Well, an absolute winner had it landed in, but it was out.
I demand a replay.
Oh, there's a clever shot.
Well, he gets right back on the horse, gives himself another chance. Gives it the old Edgeburg bunny hop, keep that energy flowing. Maybe this time.
I think Edberg would have been proud of that backhand.
Well, he certainly copies Edberg's backhand. Very similar shot.
Threateningly standing wide, giving him the center line. He's done it. And now the crowd are warming to it.
Absolutely, Henman more animated and the crowd going along with him. 2-1 to the British number one. Here we are in the fourth set now, 2 apiece.
$15 love. $15 all.
15-30.
Let for service.
All.
Let for service.
Forty 30. Advantage Hammer.
Well, Henman obviously very much in the box seat there, but just when the Dutchman was trying to get back in the game, Henman produced one of these shots of the match. Pinpoint precision on the baseline, and before too long, Henman found himself at match point. A bit shaky to start with, but by the end, he was in complete control. Determination and relief in equal measure. And after the match, I had a few words with him. How worried were you, sort of 3-4 games into the second set?
It wasn't probably wasn't looking pretty at that stage because I was up against it. I wasn't probably playing my best. I think my opponent had a lot to do with that. So I certainly had to hang in at that stage. But I felt like if I could keep holding my serve, keep my nose in front, then I'd get some opportunities and played a good game to break him to go up 4-2. And that was when I think I started to feel a little bit more comfortable. The crowd probably started to feel a bit more comfortable as well, and things slowly started to turn.
Is it up to you to lift the crowd or them to lift you?
I think it's a little bit of both. Having said that, I don't think I was giving them much to work with because in all honesty, Sheng was the one that was playing all the tennis, and from the first game he broke me with a pretty good game, not perhaps the best game I've ever played, but I think that put me on the back foot, it put them on the back foot, but as I said, early on in the second set that was a pretty critical time, because I certainly wasn't comfortable with my game, but I hung in there, I played some tough tennis and got it going.
When an opponent is playing that well, with the benefit of wisdom and all the years' experience now, are you always working on the basis that at some point his form is going to dip?
You're keeping your fingers crossed that that's going to happen. In all honesty, I went on the court thinking that I can attack his serve, I can chip and charge a bit on his second serve. That was something that worked well in Paris, but the guy was serving and volleying both balls. He's hitting big second serves in the corners. So I was trying to get the thing back, and so that kind of took me a little bit by surprise. But the positives for me are that I played some good tennis to turn it around, and then third and fourth sets I think I really upped my level.
Now Todd Martin obviously takes you back 5 years to your first big semi-final year. How much? Quarterfinal.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. How much wiser are you now? Obviously you're 5 years older, but how much wiser are you?
I'd like to think I'm a lot wiser, and I've had a lot of experiences, both good and bad, since then. But I'm under no illusions it's going to be an even tougher match. I think he's played in a lot of big occasions. He's had a lot of good results himself. He knows his way around a grass court. So it's going to boil down to who plays best on Monday, and I hope that's going to be me.
Is he one of those guys, you look at in the draw and you think, I wouldn't actually fancy playing him?
Well, he's when you get to the fourth round of a slam, I don't think there are going to be there are not going to be too many easy matches. But he's been there in pretty much every slam. I think he made semis of the US Open the end of last year. He made quarters in Australia. So he's been playing pretty well in the big events, and he's obviously playing well right now. I feel like I'm playing well, so it'll be an interesting one.
And how would you assess your form to date?
I'm really pleased. I think today was an important match for me, not only to come through, but I was really tested. My first two matches were fairly straightforward, but I wasn't on the court for 5 sets. I wasn't out there for 4 hours, but I certainly knew that I was in some pressure situations, and I'm pleased with the way I came through that.
So how would you assess Tim Henman's form?
Well, he had 2 easy matches that barely counted, and then when he got himself in a little trouble, he picked it up, which is important. If you're ever going to win a big one, you need to do that. He lost the first, he had a break point down the second. Things were really going Schalken's way. He was hitting a big ball and coming up with some big shots, but once he got through that break point chance, he turned things around, and now things get really tough.
It was a very subdued atmosphere, because it's the old counter-production of being the great British hero, the folk hero. But when things are tense and nervous, the crowd get tense and nervous, and so there's actually no atmosphere.
That's exactly right. See, that's why I've advocated Tim getting a little more into it. I think people started picking up on that. It's not his natural personality. It's like telling Sampras to yell at the umpire. It's just not going to happen. And also the fact that Ruzetsky had won convincingly, so he knows that in the back of his mind that he's done that. So it took him a while, but I mean, by the end of the match, he's certainly playing the best he has the entire tournament. That's good news.
Sure. Okay, well, next for Tim, it's Todd Martin, good old redoubtable Todd Martin.
That's right.
Yeah. Quite remarkably, only 4 sets today for Todd. He saw off Magnus Larsson. He actually lost the first, as you can see, and then won the second 6-love when the Swede obviously was absent without leave. So the tall American, who seems to have been here since the days when Mac was playing, is now facing Tim in the last 16. What does he make of that?
He's in great shape. He's very strong right now, and I think he understands the game close, especially on grass, as well as anybody.
Henman mania is something you're going to have to cope with and counteract. How will you do that? How will you blot out the crowd in this situation?
If we only had to play in front of English crowds all year long, we'd be in great shape.
Really?
We wouldn't have to worry too much. So it's a very polite crowd, and that's all I can ask for. It's more fun to play in front of a crowd that has a desire, rather than just to watch and be entertained. It's nice to know that they want you to win or they want him to win, and that's how it'll be.
Is that how you felt here?
I love energy, so that's why I had to stir things up a bit. Gracie, they were getting a little quiet at the end of the day, hadn't gotten their tea yet, so absolutely, they know the game well. But of course, Todd's going to have it tougher because the crowd's going to be behind Tim, no question. I mean, he knows that. He's just trying to Sort of downplay it.
He's playing Mr. Nice Guy.
Well, he is, that's for sure. He always is that.
Sure. OK, well, Pete Sampras, you would think, anyway, is waiting as the prospective quarter-final opponent for either Henman or Todd Martin. As far as Sampras today was concerned, he was playing the sporting equivalent of Boutros Ghali. That's Sargis Sargsyan of Armenia. And Sampras was rarely out of third gear in what was a rather lacklustre match, and he won it in straight sets. What did you make of Sampras today?
He's just getting the job done. I mean, it's the usual Pete, you know, he's unpredictable, but predictable. I mean, you wouldn't have thought he would have gone 5 sets, but he knows when to pick it up, and he wants people to start second-guessing and counting him out. That's when he really goes after you. But, I mean, no one thought, and even including Sargsyan, who practices a lot with Pete, and they both know each other's game, it wasn't going to happen for him.
OK, well, maybe Roger Federer of Switzerland is going to provide him with a few more questions to answer. He actually played what, by all reports, was a fantastic match against Jonas Bjorkman today. What about him?
They've been talking about him a couple of years, and he's slowly but surely made his way up the rankings. For sure, he's going to be in the top 10, perhaps a Grand Slam champion, perhaps as early as this year. And he's got all the goods. He can volley, he can serve, he can play from the ground. He's a good kid. And watch out. I mean, Sampras is going to have to be careful. If he doesn't pick up his game, Federer could beat him.
What aspect of Federer's game can really hurt Sampras, do you think?
He's just an all-around excellent player. He's got all the shots. No one shot is going to scare Pete. He's not the biggest server around. He's not the biggest hitter of the ball, but he can do it all. And he's young. He's got energy. He wants it. I mean, there should be a hunger, a yearning to beat a guy like Sampras. This can put him on the map. The tennis world knows Roger Federer. The world that just tunes in a couple weeks a year, they don't know him yet. This is his chance.
OK, now there was one incident in that Sampras match that was perhaps a little bit out of keeping with the normal, because we don't normally expect Sampras games to provide a barrel of laughs. But anyway, if you haven't seen this from earlier today, you will enjoy it because...
What?
Where's that gone? Answer on a postcard.
Where is it?
A.
This is the good part.
So how do you extricate it from there?
Now, what would you do if you're this poor ball boy?
Was he calling his bluff there? I don't know. Anyway.
That's good, though. See, that's I like to see that. That's funny. Finally, he gets up, and lo and behold, there we go.
Yeah. Do you think his shorts are too tight to play good tennis in?
You know, this is an argument for tight shorts. You see that? That thing
balls can't go up them.
That's right. You see that?
Yeah, it's a good argument. But,
and plus, these guys have great legs. I mean, they're in great shape. They're bigger, stronger than ever. Why not?
Yeah. OK, well, let's move on to the women's singles now, shall we?
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do that. OK. Now, here's Jennifer Capriati going for the third leg of a would-be Grand Slam against Tatiana Panova of Russia, who actually played some fantastic tennis, but she's only 5'3" of an inch tall, and that's probably not tall enough, Mac, really, to make an impact these days.
Well, no, but I'll tell you one thing. She gave Capriati a scare for a while, and she's a good little player. I'll have to say a little player, but she makes the folks that are under 5'6" proud, because there's hope for us all. That's like being under 6 feet in the men's game now. It's unheard of. And if you're under 5'6", it's the same thing. I mean, you see girls all the time that are breaking 6 feet. 5 feet, 1/2 an inch?
No, 3/4 of an inch. It's important. I think when you're 5 foot, that 3/4 of an inch actually makes a big difference, you know. Anyway, but Capriati took the first set 6-4, and in the second set, bit by bit, she started to look more like a Grand Slam double winner so far this year. And is she looking like on course to be maybe a finalist here?
She's definitely on course. I mean, obviously, when she plays Serena in the quarters, that's what everyone's waiting for. That's a big, huge matchup in the women's side. And then after that, you'd have to like either one of those two's chances to get to the finals. I like Justine Henin quite a bit, the way she plays. But the big hitters, it's going to be one of the big hitters, Capriati Williams, or the other Williams, Venus, and see if Lindsay's physically up to it, physically fit and confident enough at this point.
Well, you mentioned Justine Henin. She had a bit of a scare today, and she features in the course of today's roundup. What else happened today?
Serena Williams complained earlier in the week that she had no time to finish the book she's enjoying at the moment. Or maybe that was why she was in such a hurry to get back to the locker room. She had little trouble getting past Emanuele Gagliardi of Switzerland 6-1, 6-2 to set up a fourth-round tie with Bulgaria's Magdalena Maleva. '19-year-old Justine Henin has been one of the young Belgians to impress this year, seeded 8th for the championships in just her second appearance at Wimbledon. She came up against last year's quarter-finalist Lisa Raymond, who stretched her to a tie-break in the second set. The French Open semi-finalist showed great spirit by coming from 5-2 down in the tiebreak to take it 8-6. Anka Huber could have expected a bit of a test against the rising Russian star Elena Dementieva, but the 10th seed was so far off the boil she was barely lukewarm. The first set took just 13 minutes, and you wondered why she bothered with the second. Huber through, 6-love, 6-2. US Open champion Marat Safin has been struggling with a back injury this year, and his third-round match against David Prinisel will have tested it. He certainly didn't make it easy for himself. After being 2-0 up, he let his concentration slip, and he could have had the match in the bag after serving for it at 5-4. Well, Prinisel broke twice to take the third set, and Safin sagged further in the fourth. But the Russian gathered himself together and eventually won the final set 6-3. The number 4 seed has reached the fourth round for the first time at Wimbledon, where he'll meet Arnaud Clément. Cedric Pierlin and debutant Andrei Stolyarov resumed their second-round match at 5-all after retiring for poor light on Thursday night. The Russian had never played a 5-set match before, so maybe the overnight pause did him some favours. Former finalist Pierlin had 2 match points at 8-7, but couldn't convert either. Stolyarov eventually came through the winner, 12-10. Now, if you mentioned a doubles match involving Barry Cowan at the start of the week, it would have pulled a loyal but small crowd. But since his heroics against Sampras, everybody wants a piece of him. After winning the first set with Jamie Delgado, they lost the next 3 to Hanley and Kratzmann. But then, who cares when you've taken 2 sets off Sampras?
Probably Barry Cowan. Mary Rhodes reporting there. Marat Safin, now there's an enigma for you, US Open champion.
That's what I keep waiting for, to see the form that helped him win that tournament. A lot of people waiting for it. We need that guy. He's got a lot of personality. He's done the right thing in hiring Wielander, who mentally, to me, was one of the toughest individuals ever on a tennis court. He's just got to get inside that head and compete harder on a regular basis. Now, I don't know how bad his back really is, but hopefully it was more of a mental thing. He wasn't training very hard, because physically he's a specimen. I mean, he's just incredible how big and strong he is, and he would add a big amount of flavor to the game if he were to stick around. And playing Clément, he's got a good opportunity there. Clément's a quick guy, he's an excellent player, but you got to figure Safin, if he plays up to his capabilities, will win that.
Just going back to Justine Henin, her backhand is one of the great shots of world tennis, isn't it? It's just fantastic to watch.
Well, as a one-hander, too. I mean, I'm one of the old guys that still hits a one-hander. You don't see that too often anymore, and she can do everything with it. She puts so much of her body into it, and the technique's great, and she just has so much confidence in it. You don't see that anymore in either the men's or women's game. It just seems like the two-hander has taken over for the most part, so you got to hang on to these one-handed beauties as long as you can.
Any club player watching that's the way to play those shots.
Especially, she's not a big girl. I mean, she maybe is 5'6", and she doesn't have a whole lot of fat on her either, so she really shows you that technique is important. She gets some pretty good zip on that ball.
Now, talking about great points, point of the day today comes courtesy of Tim Henman. What a shot this is. And as we know, of course, he plays Todd Martin in the next round. And if we look at that top section of the draw, we can see that there's an awful lot of big names in there. Sampras, Federer, Martin, Henman, Safin, Clément, Ivanisevic, Rosetsky. Who do you see as the 4 quarter-finalists from that lot?
You're not asking me, are you? Because that's a tough one, okay? I mean, you know, I could tell you I'm going to go with the favorites, but in this case, I expect to expect the unexpected, is what I think Monday's going to be a memorable day. Now, don't ask me to pick those 4 players. That's a tough one. I mean, obviously, I would go with Sampras if I had to, but I think Federer's got a real shot at it. I picked Henman early on, but Todd Martin's very dangerous. I think Safin will probably win, but Clément's got a lot of talent. And let me see if I have a coin in my pocket.
I haven't got any money on this.
Ivanisevic, Rosetsky, those big hitters. I mean, once again, Goran's one. I mean, I find it remarkable that he's beaten them all 8 times. So, you think sooner or later Greg should win one.
Okay, now here's the order of play for tomorrow on centre court, sort of People's Saturday, so to speak, as they say these days. Leighton Hewitt against Younes El Anoui of Morocco, then Likov-Seva against Venus Williams, and Hicham Marazi against Rafter. Can you see either of the Australians being stretched there?
I doubt either one of them will lose, but I want to congratulate the Moroccans. I mean, this is it's got to be the first time in history that two Moroccan players are going to be playing on center court, and so they should be very proud of that. Hicham Marazi is very talented. El Anoui, I saw coming from a clay court tournament Monday afternoon at Wimbledon, hadn't played a bit at all on grass, and yet he finds himself in the third round. That's a pretty good effort.
Absolutely. And how have Morocco done this? What have they got going there?
You're asking the wrong guy. I mean, I think part of it's the fact that these guys at an early age went to and played a lot of tennis in France, and they have a good program, and they allow a lot of people the chance to play, which is what we should be doing in this country, and also which we should be doing where I live in the United States. Give these kids a chance to play. Now, this has got to be a boost for Morocco. I mean, I don't know. Heck if I know.
Where is Morocco?
Hell if I know.
Listen, 95% of Americans haven't got passports. They won't know where Morocco is.
Is that true?
I think, isn't it something like that?
I don't know about that.
Listen, two Moroccans at this stage and two Brits. And you know what the papers are going to be like tomorrow morning and all over the weekend, talking about Henman this, Rosetsky that. John McEnroe says realistically about Henman and Rosetsky.
I think he's got a great shot. I think they both do. I mean, I think Henman's got a great shot to go all the way, and Rosetsky's playing as best as we've seen him at least in a couple of years. I mean, the fact is they're on the top half, so don't ask for an all Brit or three-quarters Brit or whatever amount of Brit he is final, but they're looking as good as they've looked in a long time. Now, of course, there's a couple people that might have something to say about it.
And you're still sticking with your prediction from a week or so ago about Henman?
I can't go away now. I can't back off. That's not my style.
Okay, well, it does promise to be a fascinating day tomorrow. Obviously, coverage throughout the day on Grandstand, and highlights again tomorrow night here on BBC Two at 9:30. And Monday, as John was saying, should be an absolutely fantastic day. The round of 16.
I'm a serve volleyer.
That phrase does annoy me. The round of 16. I'm sorry, you know.
We got to think of something better.
Okay, that's on Monday anyway. But who's to say that we won't have an all-British semi-final next week? Let's just take it one game at a time. See you tomorrow night.
And it's Sampras serving for the set. Oh, great return there by Agassi. And a lovely volley by Rafter. What? Hang on, now Capriati's returned that one. Rosetsky, where did he come from? Back by Hingis. What? No, it's Henman. Oh, I give up.
There is an